Hi, I'm Ernie,
And I'm Ben.
and this is Budget Nerds.
You are not alone. And today we are going to talk about something really fun. We're going to talk about the holidays, how we
Holidays!
budget for the holidays, how we spend, how we figure out how to not reveal to our partners what gifts we got them, all those things. Why don't we talk about that? So what do you
Ben,
do?
I feel like I need to first confess that I kind of feel like a poser here. Like,
Well,
I'm not a
poser.
true budget nerd when it comes to the holidays.
So you
So
just kind of keep it simple. Don't do anything particularly complicated or anything.
it's super simple, and we do a lot of it even just outside of YNAB. So really, this is an episode where I need to hear from you and the community and learn from everyone else, because I don't know how much I have to offer here.
Oh, that's all right. I've been feeling that way in some of our other episodes. Like I remember when I said I didn't use scheduled transactions, you were like appalled.
What?
And actually, I am using them now, and yeah, I like it. It's good.
Okay, but you're not completely sold.
Well, I don't know. I've only been doing it for like a week or so, but like it's funny because I thought that. I mean, this is a tangent, so we're gonna go on a tangent. But I thought that I wouldn't have that many scheduled transactions. Once I started adding them, it was like this huge list. So actually, I think I like it, but that'll be for another episode. We can update you guys on that. But yeah, today we're talking about holidays and how we handle that. So why don't you, just as baseline, Ernie, why don't you talk about what you do? Even if it's not in YNAB, how do you keep track of everything? Because there's so many people to buy gifts for. It's a lot. So how do you keep track of everything?
Well, my wife Christy does all that tracking, and she just keeps track of it all in a notebook. So who we're buying gifts for, and then the gift we buy for each person, how much it was. I mean, it's just the system she has in place with her notebook is unbelievable, and that just keeps us, on track for everything for the holidays. And then my responsibility is just to budget for it throughout the year. And this is the only place, again, where I really get nerdy with the holidays. We budget starting in January. We set aside a certain amount every single month. We've been doing that for 4 or 5 years. And the first year we did that, where we planned for Christmas throughout the entire year, it was a game changer. Like, I just remember feeling like this is the most amazing thing I've ever experienced in my life, right? Because the holidays before we celebrate Christmas, we'd pay off with next year's tax return. Right. Or we would wait until we got like that, third paycheck in a month and use that to pay off some of it on the credit card. So saving for it around, from January to December is awesome. I love doing that. I love watching every month that Christmas category build up a little bit more and more. And then if we do find something, in July, that would be perfect for one of the boys or a family member, it's awesome to be able to buy that gift and not even feel it in the budget, because we've been planning for Christmas all those other months. So
I did the same thing. Like I remember, we save for Christmas all around now, but for a while, it's funny because it's like the quintessential true expense, right? Is Christmas? Yeah. It's like one of the big examples we always give, or your December holidays, and we weren't doing that for a while. I think there was a lot of true expenses that we kind of like said, we'll figure it out. We didn't save for, and we would always get, I would always get an extra paycheck in October because I was paid every 2 weeks back in the day, and we would always use that to get ready for Christmas, and we kind of fell into a cycle of that. Okay. But it's so much better saving for it year round because things like the tax return or an extra paycheck, you actually get to use it for something you want instead of
and I don't know why I did that before. I had those other true expenses I was saving for, not super well, but they were there. I think maybe because generally Christmas is such a large expense, I just figured I couldn't find that monthly amount in the budget. But when I made it a priority, it happened. Like it worked.
Yeah, and it's really great. So if you're not saving for it year round, go for it, because it really makes a big difference to not have to worry about it, and to be able to, and if you're to be able to actually use any kind of windfall you might get for something you want, instead of, oh gosh, I got to think about Christmas, or even worse, end up putting it on a credit card and dealing with the debt. So
I kind of plan for the money side of Christmas, Christy actually goes ahead and tracks all the presents and who we're giving gifts to, stuff like that. But then when it comes to giving gifts for each other, and this is the only other piece I'll offer on this topic today, but since I do most of the budgeting, like 97% of it, I can pretty much put gifts in the budget for her and know that she won't see them.
Right.
But usually, just in case she happens to go in, I will change the payee. I'll put something like Christy's gift or something like that.
Yeah.
But then when she buys a gift for me, I mean, she knows I'll be in the budget probably within 2 hours of buying that gift. And so she'll have to tell me, don't go into this account because we have separate credit cards. So she'll just tell me not to go into that credit card account,
which I'm sure just kills you, Ernie. You can't.
Right, because I'll see the notification that there's a transaction ready to import. I just have to wait and do nothing. It does kill me.
This is literal torture for her.
So then when she gets around to importing that and reconciling it, because it'll then clear the register of those reconciled transactions, then I can go back into that and continue with my normal budgeting routine.
That's good. Yeah. For me, we've kind of divided the labor a little bit. I'm really the one that does the reconciling these days, but in years past, my wife and I would really share the load on that. And so it's hard to hide the gift, or at least hide where you got it. We have a category, we have a payee called None of Your Business. Nice. And that's our payee for gifts. But it's definitely hard to hide that you got a gift. There's I think maybe there's some people in the comments that could help with that. This isn't such a big deal for the holidays or birthdays. You're going to be buying a gift for your partner, but if you want to do like a spontaneous thing, sometimes that can be tricky. So there's lots of ways to do it, but yeah, you just got to be careful. And actually, the thing that I find is even harder is if you buy a gift online, is dealing with like confirmation emails. Like,
sure.
If my wife buys something on Amazon, the email comes to me, so I would see the confirmation. So you guys
share an Amazon account?
Yeah, we share an account, but it goes to my email. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, and so she has to be like, don't look at your email, and she'll like log into my email and delete the confirmation email. It's the whole thing. But you know what? We've never once had a situation where I found out what she got me and she found out what I got her. So
okay, so it's working.
It's working, but you have to be vigilant. So
So what about on the budget side of things? Planning for the holidays, the spending. What do you do there?
Yeah, so this is kind of fun. So we actually keep track of it in YNAB, and there's pros and cons to this approach because you get a lot of benefits, but you also need to do some extra work. And so one thing I thought we might try, this is the first time I think we might try, let me show you my budget live while we're actually talking. So normally we edit this stuff in after the fact. So let me see if I can bring up my budget here. There we go.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah. Okay. So this is my Christmas budget file.
So you do a whole new budget just for Christmas.
Whole budget for Christmas. So
this is like next level stuff.
I know, it's kind of fun. So my personal budget, my regular budget has one line item, one category for Christmas and holidays. It's literally called that. And so any spending related to Christmas or any other holidays goes there. But I want to also keep track of how much we're spending on every individual person we're going to buy gifts for. And so we have a separate budget file for that. And I have a fake account called Christmas Monies. And what I basically do is whatever we've saved, and just when we get to December, whatever amount we've saved, I do an inflow into this fake budget for that amount. And then divvy the money up to all my friends and family. And you can see their names here. And so it's kind of funny because we can be like, well, my sister Trish, we like her, this dollar amount, so we're gonna do that. But my sister-in-law Colleen here, we like her this dollar amount.
Right, so assigning everyone's worth in dollars.
It's like I think Michael Scott said that he likes giving gifts because it's like, you can say I like you this many dollars worth, right? but it is true. Like, we'll do that. And, typically it's the same for everybody. But what I really like about it is, say we like budgeted like $40 for my mom's gift, but we found something that was $35 and it was perfect for her and we got it for her. We could roll the punches and we could take that $5 and move it somewhere else where we might want to end up getting a little bit more of an expensive gift. So we plan the amount and then we move money around in this budget.
Got it.
And so it kind of lets us figure it out. And then we actually record twice the spending. So I'll record whenever we spend money on a gift, we'll record it in my personal budget, one category, and then I'll record it again here in my Christmas budget. So that's the bit that's a lot of extra work.
Yeah, I would imagine at first you're like, okay, I can do this because you're a budget nerd. You like entering transactions. But then after the 30th Christmas transaction, you're like, this has got to be done soon.
In fact, if some of you guys that are more savvy might realize that we didn't really keep up with it last year. As you can see the transactions from last year here. Right. And so this is what I did. Like my budget is called Barlow Bodacious Budget. That's what it's called. So the payee is the Bodacious budget. And so that's an inflow of the amount that we were going to spend on Christmas here. About $750 is what we spent last year. Right. And then we went and got a tree. So $60. And that went to the miscellaneous tree category. Right. And then we spent we got a watch for my daughter, Flora. We spent $16 on that. So anyways, we went through just like that. But you'll notice here on the day after Christmas, I said the end of Christmas is the very ominous, very sad payee. And I did an outflow for $436 to TUI budget. So clearly I did not track all of the Christmas spending here.
Yeah.
So I kind of failed last Christmas.
Well, but it happens even to the best of the budget nerds,
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But it's still nice to have an idea of what this helps us keep track of how much we're going to spend on each person, and also keep track of who we've bought gifts for and who we haven't.
Okay.
So
do you use in the categories? Do you use the notes section to keep track of anything?
Not so much in the actually. Look at that, Dad B. That's my dad. Plaid pajamas right here in the notes. Okay. So apparently we do.
Well, because I just watched Ashley's video on holiday strategies, and she was talking about using the notes section. And a little tidbit she shared is Shift Enter in notes.
Oh, yes.
Will give you a new line.
Yes.
That was blowing people's minds in the comments. I wanted to mention it here.
Yeah, a lot of folks don't know that because it's not super intuitive, and there might be some room for improvement there eventually. But if you hit Shift Enter, you can get a new line. So in the notes here we have ideas for what we want to buy for everybody. Booking a toy for Cecily, which is my aunt. So that's pretty fun. My aunt, my niece. But so that's so it keeps track of everything in one place, including the amount we want to spend and what we want to buy. So
this is really cool because what you're doing is everything that that Christy is doing in her notebook. So you've just like brought it into YNAB and have it all in one place.
Exactly.
I like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like I said, there are many benefits because you can move money around, you can keep track of everything. But the downside is you do got to keep up with another budget, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you can do that. But I think maybe a tip is maybe just keep up with the Christmas budget like once every few days or once a week, and just pull up your activity on your personal Christmas budget on the category, right? And just like go through that activity and make sure you're recorded in here too. So it's basically anything that gets recorded to the Christmas budget on our actual real budget, anything that gets recorded to that category gets recorded here. So that's how that works.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice setup. I like it. Very nerdy of you.
Yeah, it's fun, and you might want to try it. But if it's working for you on a pen and paper or whatever, go for that too. Whatever works.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe someday we'll up our holiday budgeting game a little bit here.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I love to hear what you all do. Do you do something like this budget, this extra budget in YNAB, or do you track on pen and paper, or do you just not track at all and see what happens?
And I would love to know, because I think there's going to be a lot of creative ideas out there about how partners hide gifts from each other. So
yeah, I'd like to get some tips on
hear
that
some
myself.
of those strategies and tips.
Yeah, because I don't think I've really figured it out. So yeah, I think there's a lot of good ideas out there for sure.
And this is a question that we often get in workshops. So I would love to learn some new tips and strategies to share.
Yeah, and I'm not even always sure how to answer it, because the whole point is that we are paying real close attention to our finances, right?
Yeah.
And that's a problem when you want to hide that you spent money on somebody, on your partner. So, that can be tricky. So if you have any ideas, I'd love to hear it.
Definitely. Cool. Well, thanks a lot, Ben. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm glad you were able to get nerdy.
Yeah, that's good. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Happy budgeting.
Happy budgeting, folks. See ya.